Welcome back to Studio 701.
We are getting in depth about living an ergonomic lifestyle, and Jeannie DeCray, a physical therapist at CHI St. Alexis, is joining us once again. Thanks for being with us, Jeannie.
It is my pleasure. And some of the greatest things in ergonomics, I think, have been developed by people who were just very frustrated with tools that didn't work well for them. And as software has changed, so much that used to be keyboard driven is now more mouse driven, which tends to be a real challenge because, you know what, normal position for our hand is not flat. It's probably a little bit more upright or a little bit more angled. So a couple of different mouse ideas, and I think there's some links on the website, but Contour makes a couple of really cool products. This is probably my favorite, and it is called a Unimouse, but it will allow you to change the angle of your hand from being fairly upright to being down to about 20 to 22 degrees. But it allows the thumb to move in and out a little bit to a better position. The buttons on the top of the mouse are right click, left click, the traditional, and then a double click in the middle so that you have fewer motions. A little bit of a tracker here, copy and paste buttons on the side. And I say that people, the first day they use this, they want to throw it out the window, and by day 3, they can't imagine how they weren't using it before.
Sure.
So it works slick. The other mouse, and this one as we bring it in, really looks, probably people think it's a new style keyboard, but it actually, it will split in the center part to make either a shorter palm pad or a longer palm pad. But for positioning your cursor, this bar just slides back and forth, rolls up and down, and then it will click to just kind of lock it in place. And you also have a right click, a left click, a double click, and a copy and paste function there.
So this is a mouse?
This is a mouse, yes.
Wow.
And so
crazy?
even if you're in a pretty decent position, your mouse is still going to be out to the side of your keyboard. This allows everything to just be in a very central position. And if you're using more computer application mouse rather than keyboard, it really works very nicely.
Wow.
Okay, so I have a question. People can reach out to you if they would like a consultation or to ask you some questions. How does this work as far as you kind of advising people or, you know, looking at how their workplace is, or how does that work?
Well, for those of you who are in businesses, WSI has a really cool grant program that they have grant matching funds available both for consultation and to help purchase equipment. And so for businesses, that's a really big deal to be able to get up to 75% of the cost of the equipment paid for to a certain dollar amount depending on what your standard premium is. But we'd also do these for our clients, patients coming in, looking at them in-house or at their home. There are some insurance coverages for it depending on insurance. And of course, it's always would be available on a consultative basis as well. We do have some resources on our website that people can tap into. And I think I had sent these ahead. One of them is just called Troubleshooting Causes of Discomfort, that if you have a specific issue, it's really a nice way to say, oh, you know what, I need to probably look at where my arms are, where my screen is. I've got this little document holder as well.
I was going to ask, like, wait a second, this looks like it'd actually be pretty ergonomic here, so you're not looking down like this all the time.
Exactly, and just trying to have your photo or whatever documentation you're working from be in relatively the same line of sight as your computer monitor is. So if you're going to be writing on things, obviously it's not going to work as well, but if you're just referencing it and coming back to your keyboard and mouse, it's really very slick. And a lot of people don't like document holders particularly because they take up so much space, but this one is just really easy to move in and out. It's called a page up document holder. I know that Fireside locally carries the Unimouse products. You can probably get all of them online at Amazon as well.
Sure. And then is this something?
Yes. You know what? This was to match Amber's in my shirt.
Yeah.
Right, I was like,
Complementary
are we just
color,
tying in your
You missed the pink, you know,
That's right, it is
memo
Wednesday, isn't
today.
it?
But yeah, this is from Natalie's office, actually, a yoga block, which she said, I mean, this kind of thing, you know, applies to all kinds of areas of your life.
So for people, and Natalie is actually quite a bit taller than I am, which is not an unusual thing, but last year when we looked at her chair, one of the things that if she was to get raised elevated enough to get to her keyboard in her work, her feet didn't have adequate support of that 90 degrees. and I had brought along a little blue yoga block and said, you know, I really like these. You can have them in different orientations depending on how much height you need, but they move very easily in and out of place in order to have that 90 degrees at the hip and the knee and have your feet supported well. They also work great if you're flying. You know, you don't want extra stuff, but for, again, vertically challenged people, a lot of airline seats don't fit very well either. So
Great
sounds terrible.
Great tips.
I bet your knees aren't on the back.
I know. It goes both ways, doesn't
Jeannie,
it?
thank you. This has been some really great information. Thank you so much
My
for the
pleasure.
recommendations.
My
and
pleasure.
This has been Wellbeing, sponsored by Physical Therapy and Balance Centers.
And if you'd like to get more information about ergonomics, again, reach Jeannie by emailing her or calling her. That information is right there on your screen. But keep it